Hello everyone, this is OSX iOS God, and I am here to bring you my first app review. And today I chose to review the To Do app by Guided Ways. And they've had an iPhone app out for some time now, and I've been a big fan of them. So when I heard they were releasing the Mac app, I was pretty excited. So let's get to it. So here is the app right here. This is the user interface. I actually already added some of my own tasks here. But yeah, so I'll talk about this a little first. Right here on the left, you have your tasks, which are sorted by either all of them, starred, today, scheduled, and done. And then you can also make your own lists, or in the iPhone app, these were actually called calendars. And I just chose like some basic ones here, like inbox, personal, work, and business. Over here are your smart lists, and then they also added this calendar feature right here at the bottom, which you can hide and reveal. If you click this plus button, it will add a task for you, and this one is just to change some of the settings on your lists. And what else is there? If you press this, actually that one's going to add the task. The one on the bottom actually adds the list. And over here is your tags, so you can actually set your tags over here. And this here is your search feature. And this is here is the sync. And of course, all the things here are your tasks. So that's pretty much the user interface. So let me just talk about some of the functionality here now. So one thing that I really did like about this app is they added a quick add feature, meaning that you could actually just press a hotkey just to add a task. So let me actually demonstrate that to you right now. I have mine set to Control Command T. You can set it to whatever you want in the preferences. I'll actually show you that later, but it'll actually bring up this window here, and then you can add whatever task you want. So I'll put take out the garbage. And then from there you could also add priority to it, or a star, so you can add like a star to it and then add a high priority if you want. You could start start date and the due date. You could add your tags here. So let me just add in a few errands, I guess, and then you could add maybe Sunday you'll do it. And over here you can actually add a picture to it, so let me just show you that really quick. I'll just add in any random picture here. Here's the iCloud picture. So then once that's saved, anytime you click this picture, that picture will also show up. The other cool thing here is the audio note, which you can add. Let me actually show that to you. I've never actually used this before, but let me try it right now. Bring out the garbage at 5 o'clock tomorrow. And then you can also play that back to yourself, of course. I didn't actually hear anything, but okay, we'll play with that another time. And over here is the alarm. And the cool thing about this is you can actually set multiple alarms. So if you want to set one for 5 minutes before, you can do that. And then you could also set another one to 2 hours before. And you could also tweak this however way you want. This here is the repeats feature. And there's a lot of different settings here. You can repeat it monthly, weekly, every 2 weeks, and whatnot. And over here, as I said earlier, is a start and due date. So if you wanted it to start on the 7th and you wanted it due on the 14th, you can do that. And you can also add a time to it as well. So if you want it to be due at 6 o'clock, you can definitely add that in. And over here is the note. So if you want to add that note that I was talking about earlier, take out garbage tomorrow at 5, you can do that. And also to change your list is over here as well. So you can definitely change it there. I have my default set to inbox. So then you can hit save. But what's actually really good about this feature is if you are, let's say you're trying to stay focused on a task and then something pops into your mind, but you don't want to work on it right away. So let's say you're just, I don't know, working on a project and then something pops into your mind, you want to look it up on Google. So it's like, use the quick add and then you just put look up on Google. And you just hit enter. And then that way your task is saved and you can look at it later on in the day if you wanted to. So that's pretty much that. Oh, the other thing I forgot to add is they actually do have different task types. So they have projects, They have projects, lists, and just the normal normal task, which I was showing you earlier. And you can actually edit that here by right-clicking it, and you can convert it to either a task or a project. Or when you actually add a task, whoops, you can actually go up here and then you can choose which one you want. And everything also has a hotkey associated with it as well, which is also pretty convenient. And yeah, that's pretty much that. So this here is actually a project, or actually this one's a checklist, which I have set up already. So this is just a shopping list. Basically has some stuff that I want to go out and buy. So definitely you could check these off one by one, or you can actually hit this, which says, do you want to check off all of them? Which of course you can hit yes, and then it would bring that down to the bottom where your done to do's are. Okay, so those are pretty much the different options for adding a task. Next I'll actually talk about the sorting options, which are actually up here. So you actually have a variety of different sort options here. So you can actually sort it by priority if you want, and that'll bring all the ones that are high priority to the top. You can sort it by start date, you can sort it by due date, you can sort it by note, by title, and the one that I normally use is manual because I want to do it in a certain order. And the way you actually use this is you just hold down on the task until it says that you can move it, and then you can just move it around to whichever place you want it. The cool thing about this is it actually has a focus filter, and if you hit that, you can actually choose what you want to appear on here. So you can choose, like, I just chose like today and tomorrow and start tasks, but you can do like just tasks that are due in the next week, tasks that are due in a month, in a year, 6 months, and so on. So yeah, these are just some of the tasks I have. So I have like pay rent, and I actually have a repeat on this as well. I have it set to repeat every 20th since that is when my rent is due. And yeah, so that's that. The next thing I want to go over is tags. So as I was showing you earlier, the tags, I showed you a bit of it, but they actually have this whole separate section of the tags which you can add yourself. So I have all these different tags that I can definitely use. And the cool thing about it is they actually added this new thing called tag group, which actually isn't available on the iPhone app, but they do have it available here. So it basically just adds these different types here, which I've added myself. And then I'll just add one just to show you guys, demo. And then you could also add different tags that you want. The cool thing about this is they actually have a hotkey feature for this as well. So yeah, they actually have a lot of different hotkeys with this program, which is actually what I really like. So one of the hotkeys they have is to add a tag, which is Command T. If you press Command T, it automatically adds a new tag for you. So I'll just put here demo 1, Command T, demo 2, and so on. And the cool thing about this is you can actually drag these onto your app. So I mean, not to your app, to your tasks. So I just made some tasks over here. So if you wanted to tag them, you could actually just drag your tags here. And yeah, basically there's a lot of dragging in this app that you can do. So if you wanted to actually drag this into a different list, you can do that. So I'll drag it into personal, for example. And as you can see, that changed blue, meaning that it's in the personal one. And you could also drag this into like work, and then that would also change it as well. Oh, the other thing you can do is you can actually drag it into a date as well. So see, when I did that, I actually added a due date, or actually a start date to that task. Actually, that was a due date. So yeah, it adds due dates by dragging it into this calendar here. And okay, now the next thing I want to show you was with this tags feature, you can actually sort it like a certain way that you want. So for example, let's say I wanted to show only tasks that were active. In this case, I only have one, so that's not really a good example. But let's say I choose computer tasks. And then let's say you also wanted to choose computer tasks that were active. In this case, I don't have any, but if I did, it would show up there. Let me actually just add one here. So I'll add active here. So that way, if I choose active, only that one task is going to show because it has both those tasks. So that's a really cool feature too. And the other thing I want to go over was the smart filters. The cool thing about smart filters is they actually have one here for you by default right when you get the program. This one just says next 3 days, but you can actually set up your own as well. So let's say I wanted to show filters that only had computer associated with it. And let's say I only wanted this to be within the next 3 days, the due dates that are within the next 3 days. You can hit apply here, and then that would show up all your computer tasks that are due within the next 3 days. In this case, I don't actually have any. Let me actually choose a different one. Errands, and due within the next 3 days. Anyways, I'll just do errands for now. Basically, if you hit this plus button, it will add a smart filter for you over here in the smart list section, and then you can just name it whatever you want. So in this case, I'll just name it errands, and that will stay there forever unless you delete it or decide to change it. So basically, every time I click this smart list over here, it will show up my errands list or whatever tasks I have under errands. So yeah, definitely that is also really cool. As I said earlier, they do have a lot of hotkeys. So for example, if I want to change the due date of this, let's say I want to just make it due on the 16th. I can just hit one button, which is the right square bracket, and I'll change that to the 16th, as you can see over here. 17, and because I changed it to a date that was too far, it actually just got deleted from my filter over here. But as you can see, that does work. And so yeah, that was pretty much that. The last thing I want to go over was the passcode lock, which is basically if you wanted to lock your app so other people can't access it, you can actually access that here from your preferences. I just hit Control comma, and as I said, you could definitely set your quick entry feature here, and you could also set up your lock over here. So you can either do it for different lists, or in my case, I just chose to lock everything. And basically, anytime your app starts, you'll actually get a lock window, which looks like this, which you would have to enter your password to get into. So let me just show you that here. I'll just enter my password. It works. And anytime you want to lock it, you could also hit this or just close the program altogether. Okay, so that is that. One more thing is they actually also added a manual to this program. Meaning, so if you, for some reason, you didn't know how to do something, you could actually just go to help up here and choose the to-do user manual. And basically this is the manual for the to-do. I kind of went through it a little bit, but not really too much. And it basically just explains a bunch of stuff to you if ever you didn't know how to use the program, which is pretty cool just because it's built into the program, but it is kind of slow. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Last thing I wanted to go over was the sync settings. So let me actually show you that right now. So with sync settings, you actually have 3 different options. You have the iCloud, Dropbox, and you also have Toodledo. And basically most of them more or less do the same thing, but they do have different features that are actually pretty cool. So first I'll go over iCloud with you. The cool thing about iCloud is it actually syncs with your reminders. Now what that means is, since reminders, you can actually set reminders using Siri, so you could actually talk to Siri and say, remind me to take out my garbage tomorrow at 5 p.m. and then that would sync to your reminders, which actually also syncs to your to-do. So that's basically what I think is cool about the iCloud sync, is it syncs with Siri, and then you could also use it with the but you could actually talk to your phone to set up your tasks, basically. And so the next thing I want to go over was Dropbox Sync. This is the one that I personally use. And the thing that I like about it is you can actually sync your existing tags. So the other 2, iCloud and Toodledo, they don't actually sync your tags for some reason. And that's actually a feature that I really like, so that's why I use Dropbox. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the tags that I was talking about are like these things right here. So basically, if you didn't have it synced with Dropbox, these would not sync onto your phone as well. So that's that. And the last one I want to go over with you was Toodledo. So Toodledo is actually a web-based task manager. You can actually use it on its own if you really wanted to. And as I said, it's accessible through a browser, which is really cool. But the feature that I really like about it is you can actually email yourself tasks. So that means that you can actually open up like a mail app or even Gmail, and then Toodledo actually gives you your own email address which you can email a task to basically, and that would actually add it to your tasks list when you sync it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This app is actually available on the Mac App Store, which is really cool, for a grand total of $29.99. So my rating on this app, I decided what I wanted to rate it on because I've actually never done a review before. So I chose 5 different things. I chose user interface, ease of use, features, usability, and value. So basically, user interface is of course how the program looks, and basically how it looks. And I chose to give it a 10 out of 10 just because it does look pretty cool, and it's better than most of the apps I've seen. The second thing I chose to rate it on is ease of use. I gave it an 8 just because it's pretty easy to use, but it does have a slight learning curve, and some people won't know how to use all the features. So that's why I gave that an 8. But definitely the manual does help you out with that. The third thing I rated was the features. I gave that a 10 out of 10 because I've tried a lot of different productivity apps, and I find that this one does have a lot of features. So I gave that a 10. Third is usability. I gave it an 8. Fourth is usability. I gave it an 8 just because there are some bugs with it. I never actually got to you saw that audio note one, which didn't work for some reason. And I did find that sometimes when I use the focus filter, it doesn't work exactly how I want it. So there are a few bugs, and hopefully once they iron those out, it would be a 10 out of 10. And the last thing is value. So I chose to give it an 8 for value. There are a lot of different tasks apps out there. Some of them are cheaper and some of them are more expensive. This one's actually pretty expensive, $30. I would expect it to be more around $20, I guess, and then I would probably give it a 9. But definitely it's not the most expensive, and for what you get for it, it's actually a pretty good price. So that's a grand total of 8.8 out of 10. And yeah, I would definitely recommend this app if you're looking to buy it. So yeah, that's pretty much my review on this app. If you like this video and you want to see more, please subscribe. And wow, that was really laggy. But yeah, please subscribe. And you can also follow me on Twitter at OSX, iOS God. Thanks.